the United States and El Salvador are on the verge of a controversial partnership. At the heart of this alliance lies a shared goal: to curb the influence of dangerous gangs like MS-13. U.S. President Donald Trump, known for his hardline stance on immigration, has proposed a sweeping deportation plan for 2025. His plan explicitly targets gang members and individuals with criminal records. El Salvador, under the leadership of President Nayib Bukele, has implemented its own set of stringent measures. These measures include a controversial mega-prison designed to house gang leaders. The convergence of these two approaches has raised alarm bells among human rights advocates. They fear that the focus on expedited removals may come at the expense of due process and humanitarian considerations. The potential for this alliance to erode the rights of vulnerable individuals, particularly those seeking asylum or facing life-threatening situations, is a pressing concern. As the U.S. ramps up deportations to El Salvador, questions linger about the fate of those caught in the crosshairs of this evolving partnership. Donald Trump's 2025 deportation plan has sent shockwaves through immigrant communities across the United States. The plan, a cornerstone of his political platform, centers on a massive expansion of deportation efforts. Trump has vowed to prioritize the removal of undocumented immigrants with criminal records, particularly those affiliated with gangs like MS-13. This focus on gang violence has resonated with some Americans who view immigration enforcement as a matter of national security. The plan's critics, however, argue that it paints with too broad a brush, potentially ensnaring individuals with minor offenses or past affiliations. They fear that the Trump administration's definition of criminal will be overly inclusive, leading to the deportation of individuals who pose no threat to public safety. The plan's emphasis on speed and efficiency raises concerns about due process. Critics worry that expedited removals will leave individuals with limited opportunities to challenge their deportation orders or present their cases before an immigration judge. Nayib Bukele, the young and charismatic president of El Salvador, has made tackling gang violence a cornerstone of his presidency. Since assuming office, Bukele has implemented a series of controversial security measures aimed at dismantling MS-13 and other powerful gangs that have long plagued the country. These measures, while credited with a significant reduction in El Salvador's murder rate, have also drawn criticism for their heavy-handed tactics and potential human rights violations. One of Bukele's most notable initiatives is the construction of a massive high-security prison, specifically designed to house gang leaders. This mega-prison, a symbol of Bukele's iron-fisted approach to crime, has been condemned by human rights groups for its harsh conditions and alleged use of torture. Despite the criticism, Bukele remains steadfast in his commitment to eradicating gang violence, even if it means employing controversial methods. His willingness to take on powerful criminal organizations has earned him both praise and condemnation, painting a complex picture of his leadership. Section 4. Accelerated deportations and growing concerns. The Trump administration's focus on deportations has led to a surge in the number of Salvadorans being sent back to their home country. This increase in deportations, coupled with Bukele's crackdown on gangs, has created a complex and often fraught dynamic between the two nations. While both governments share the goal of dismantling MS-13, the methods employed and the potential consequences for deportees have raised serious concerns. Human rights advocates argue that the accelerated pace of deportations leaves little room for individualized assessments or considerations of humanitarian circumstances. They point to cases of individuals with deep ties to the United States, including families and businesses, being uprooted and sent back to a country they barely know. The fear is that this approach will result in the deportation of individuals who pose no threat to public safety, separating families and undermining the social fabric of communities. Section 5. Human rights in the balance cases in question. The potential human rights implications of the U.S.-El Salvador deportation alliance are thrown into sharp relief by cases like that of Kilmar Abrego. Abrego, who had lived in the United States for 20 years, was deported in 2020 despite having no violent criminal record. His deportation, based on past gang affiliations, highlights the potential for the Trump administration's broad definition of criminal to ensnare individuals who have turned their lives around. Equally concerning is the case of a child with stage 4 cancer who was deported during Trump's first term. The child's deportation, which sparked outrage among medical professionals and human rights advocates, raises questions about the Trump administration's willingness to make exceptions on humanitarian grounds. These cases, while distinct, underscore the potential for the U.S.-El Salvador deportation partnership to result in the unjust and inhumane treatment of vulnerable individuals. As the alliance deepens, the international community will be watching closely to see whether human rights are respected or trampled in the pursuit of shared security goals.